Undertale shows the meaning of giving others a chance. In this game, you don't have to kill monsters or enemies. Instead, you can show your true humanity and avoid fighting altogether, instead showing mercy towards your foe. This game allows us to look at others from their points of views and allows us to see things from their perspective. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, let's start off with Undertale's development. Undertale was created by an up-and-coming game developer, Toby Fox. While Fox had been making games, especially with the RPG game creation tool RPG Maker 2000, he never fully made a game, and some of his biggest projects to come to fruition before Undertale was some Earthbound ROM hacks that he had made in high school. But Fox decided to fully create a game, so on June 25th, 2013, he opened a Kickstarter with a goal of $5,000 and a finished game, Undertale. But astonishingly, he made 10 times the amount, ending his crowdfunded campaign with a little over $50,000 and being backed by a little under 2,500 people. Fox decided on using the 2D game creation tool Game Maker Studio. This meant that the game was going to have a 2D top-down view. He also wanted the characters to be simple 2D sprites instead of detailed creatures. This also helped with his game as it had a lot more visual gags than other games. The game design took some inspiration from the Mario RPG games along with the Toku project, especially with the game's fighting segments, but we can talk more about that later. Fox also took some inspiration from other forms of entertainment. For his writing, he used Earthbound's unsettling atmosphere combined with comedic shows such as Mr. Bean. Toby Fox wanted for the players to question those concepts that go unquestioned when playing games. This way of building a world also allowed for a smoother process of building an actual world, as Fox wanted all the monsters to have feelings, lives, and views that are each solely unique to them. He wanted to show that there are unique individuals with different lives from ours, yet nonetheless deserve to live. This juxtaposes how regular monsters are seen in other different types of RPGs, where they are just villains that need to be killed for levels and experience. While we're on the subject of levels and experience, let's talk about the gameplay of Undertale. Paying homage to older RPG games, Undertale uses a 2D top-down perspective like those of Earthbound and the Final Fantasy games. You control a little girl who explores the underground, a vast connection of towns, caves, streams, and other places, to make your way back to the surface. While in this underground world, you solve the simple puzzles scattered around this world, along with talking to monsters. This is the main theme in this game: talking and understanding. In Undertale, each monster has a unique voice that they want to share with you, whether they are angry about humans or wanting to be your friends or even intrigued about what a human actually is. It is your choice to talk to these monsters, befriend them, run from them, or even kill them in battle. You see, this game has random monster encounters that you must fight against just like any other RPG, but with a twist. Once the player enters the battle mode, they control a small heart, which is their soul. When the enemy attacks, the fight turns into a bullet hell shooter where you need to avoid your heart from getting hurt. Once it's the player's turn, they're given multiple options. They can either flee the battle, try to talk to the monsters, or just outright killing them. If you try and spare the monsters by talking to them, you can reason with them to not attack you and spare the monster's life without killing them. This game also relies heavily on different choices made by the player. Different playthroughs of the game give us different plot points with the characters. The plot of Undertale is mainly underscored by the idea of mercy and giving others a chance. When turning on the game, the start screen gives us some background. Long ago, two races ruled over Earth, humans and monsters. One day, war broke out between the two races. After a long battle, the humans were victorious. They sealed the monsters underground with a magic spell. Many years later, on Mount Ebott, legends say those who climb this mountain never return. And so begins the story of Undertale. The world of Undertale is set in the realm where the humans banished the monsters years ago, after the war broke out. It takes place in the underground. On Mount Ebott, a human child falls into the underground through a hole, landing herself into the realm of monsters. There she meets a sentient flower named Flowey, who teaches us the game mechanics through the story. We learn that through killing monsters we get LV or love and EXP. Suddenly we are attacked by Flowey, trying to take our soul, but we are rescued by the goat mother Toriel. Toriel decides that she's going to adopt us and protect us from the monsters and dangers outside. More specifically, she wants to protect us from the king of the underground, Asgore Dreamer. Against Toriel's wishes, we yearn to go outside, wanting to explore what's out there, so that we can hopefully return to the surface. We eventually leave the safety of Toriel's home, setting off on our journey to find our way to Asgore's castle in hopes of returning home. We then encounter other monsters, such as the Skeleton Brothers, Sans, and Papyrus, who are the sentries of the Snowden First, Alphys, the head scientist, and other monsters. We fight most of these monsters, either sparing or befriending them, or even killing them. We then start to learn more about the past of the world, and how the first child dropped into the underworld, and was adopted adopted by Asgore and Toriel, along with befriending their first son Asriel. But one day the child died. Asriel returned the child's body back to the humans, who then attacked him, seeing as they thought that he killed him, thus causing the war between the monsters and humans to come about. As we start going towards the castle, we learn from Sans that love is actually the levels of violence, and EXP is actually execution points. Then the final battle breaks out with Asgore, and finally Flowey. This ending is known as the neutral ending, with the two other different endings being based on the amount of monsters you killed during the game, either killing no monsters getting the pacifist ending, or killing every single monster and getting the genocide route. This game was released on September 15th, 2015 for Windows and Mac, with a port coming to Linux on July 17th, 2016. Other consoles soon followed, with most console releases getting a port in 2017. The game was critically acclaimed, with its writing, characters, and combat system being heavily praised. Many reviewers claimed that it was one of the most innovative RPGs ever made. Some reviewers were even impressed by the uniqueness of each enemy, and how the ability to talk to the monsters, instead of directly killing them, gave the game nuance in ways other RPGs can't capture. The writing was also heavily praised, with some considering it to be one of the best written games of 2015. In the end, the game sold around 1.3 million units, with many being uncountable due to DRM-free copies on Toby's website being sold, among other websites selling this game as well. The legacy of this game is one of perseverance and mercy. The game showed what many the meaning of true mercy actually was, and how to become a better person through it. With the popularity of the game rising, the fanbase soon came into controversy, and began making negative remarks. They attacked many YouTubers due to their playthrough of the genocide route, forcing them to kill everyone in the game. Even with these negatives, Undertale still was seen as popular, as Toby Fox made another game, using many of the same characters. This game was called Deltarune. Deltarune uses many similar characters in Undertale, but many of them are also slightly different. The game mechanics are also similar to Undertale. The fighting mechanics were overhauled to be more like that of Final Fantasy. Fox has also said that the game will not have any different routes, and the choices that you make in the game won't have that much of an effect on the outcome of the game. The game is also being released in separate parts called chapters, with each chapter being finished with no set schedule. Chapter 1 was released on October 31st, 2018 for Windows and Mac, with Nintendo Switch and PS4 ports coming on February 28th, 2019. The second chapter was released 3 years later on September 17th, 2021 for Windows and Mac, with the Nintendo Switch and PS4 release coming on September 23rd, 2021. This game showed what it truly means to be merciful and to have an open dialogue between people, or in this case monsters and humans. The ability to show mercy towards your enemy gives a new light, as each enemy has a backstory, an idea they want to share throughout the fight, or while you're traversing through the world. This game shows that no matter how bad it gets, you can always try and talk to someone, trying to de-escalate tensions and strengthen friendships and bonds. We see this with many monsters we befriend and talk to throughout the world of the underground. This truly is a one-of-a-kind game. This has been the History of Undertale by Toby Fox. Thanks for watching.